Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. Ida for telling people my dad died. My 23F father, 48M, and I had a wonderful relationship while I was growing up. Around the time I turned 15/16 he checked out completely. My mom continues him about cheating and he admitted to several. They end up separating over the summer, and we move halfway across the country right before Christmas. He falls off the face of the earth until the day we are moving out completely. He shows up to grab some things, hugs and says goodbye. I never hear anything from him after that. I did try to reach out to him a few times during my senior year. I would get inconsistent replies and few times downright evil responses, which I later found out were his now wife at the time. My father promised he would be at graduation, asked for the information and I even promised to give him a ticket. My school only gave out 10. A week before graduation I find out through social media that he isn't coming. The wife posts a photo of plane tickets saying they were going to some resort in Mexico for 2 weeks. I lose it. I'm inconsolable for almost an hour. When I finally come down, I delete him and the wife, block them. He tries to reach out via text hours after I graduate to say he's proud of me and happy that I graduated and that he loves me. I don't even respond. Over the next few years he gets married to evil stepmother, they have a child together. In one of the sparse phone calls I got from them she casually drops that she's pregnant and the baby is due in a few weeks, that I never meet, he rekindling the relationship with his father, a man I never met because he abandoned my father after he was born and made a new family. He also almost died in a car accident but I didn't find out until my PG calls to ask me to call and check on him because of it. At some point in my early 20s I just decide that the man I knew as my dad died. The man I knew wouldn't do or fathom half of the things this man has done. This person now looks and sounds like my father but he isn't my dad. Starting that day forward, whenever people ask I just say that my dad died. If people ask for information I don't mind explaining a quick summary of this, but most people leave it alone. My paternal grandmother must have overheard me talking to a friend or something and asked me why I say that my dad died. I explained it to her and while it hurt she understood. Somehow though, this got back to wife and father who have been calling and texting me incessantly to tell me I'm a brat and ungrateful for everything they've done for me and that I shouldn't be saying that because he tried to parent as best he could. They said I'm trying to turn his mom, paternal grandmother, against them and that I need to call to apologize. I don't feel I'm completely the here, but I do feel a little guilty that my grandmother has started to see my father and wife differently and I don't want it to affect her relationship with my half-sister. Ida? Story 2. Ida Monthly Open Forum June 2023 Reddit Survey Results. Story 3. Ida for asking my mom to transport me to school. To preface this, I am 15 years old and currently a sophomore in high school. For a few months now, transporting myself to high school has been a struggle. I live a 30-minute walk away from the bus stop and in an extremely cold state, Minnesota. As such, walking 30 minutes to the bus stop at 7:30 a.m. in snowy, -degree weather, is not feasible for a significant portion of the school year. That being said, I still try to do this and achieve an education. So far, my attendance has been awful, and my grades are slipping. I used to be a straight A student, but now I am barely making B grades in some classes. I have fell into a depression and have stopped eating and taking care of myself like I used to. My family has a car. I've asked my mom on several occasions to drive me to school, and if she isn't willing to do that, then at least drive me to the bus stop. She refuses, every time. For context, my mother works a job from the period of 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. After work, she likes to watch TV and engage in leisure time, meaning she does not go to sleep until about 3 a.m. She claims that time is her personal time, and that she cannot promise that she will be able to wake up and drive me to the bus stop, a 3-minute drive, or to school. Oftentimes, she refuses to pay for ride shares/LYFTS/etc., as well. I have considered virtual learning, but ultimately decided against it as we've tried it before during COVID, and it caused me to be extremely depressed and a slew of other things. To compensate for this, I have taken on a job to support taxis to school. But the costs add up, and I cannot afford it every day. Ida for asking my mom to support my education? Story 4. Ida for telling my sister's boyfriend the truth about her allergy. Editing my post to add that I'm not American. A trip to the hospital or seeing a doctor would not cost my sister any money, she wouldn't get a bill for it. Yes, we pay taxes, but we do not get billed directly by the hospital or doctor. Also, if she was really allergic, she could have gotten an EpiPen under the healthcare system. She doesn't have one, so she had to buy them herself and pretend they were prescribed. My sister and I live in different territories. She lives 4,000 kilometers south of here, so a 2-day drive or 4.5-hour flight away. We try to have a visit at least once a year. This time she brought her boyfriend to visit. I've never met him in person, only over a video call. She says they are thinking of living together. They stayed in my guest room. On the 6th day of their stay here, her boyfriend had a freak out on me because I was preparing a meal for us and he saw I had a food in my kitchen that my sister is allergic to. I put allergic in quotes because she isn't allergic to anything. Her boyfriend thought she was. She's told him she has a deadly allergy to a certain food. She went so far as to purchase EpiPens and wear a medical bracelet. She had told him stories about almost dying from accidentally or unknowingly eating this food when we were kids. Her boyfriend was angry I had it in my kitchen and did not clean my kitchen and cooking utensils before their visit. Which I would have done if my sister was really allergic. But she isn't. She hates it, but she isn't allergic, and to me there is a big difference. If there was even a chance my sister was allergic, I wouldn't have it in my kitchen. I told her boyfriend the truth, that my sister hates it but she's not allergic. That she's always hated the food. Now she's furious at me. Note that I had the food item she hates in my kitchen because I like it, but I wasn't putting it in any meal for my sister because I know she hates it. I'm not removing my food from house just because she hates it though. She's furious that I told him the truth. She argued with me. Her boyfriend argued with her. The last day and a half of their visit was awkward. From what I got from my sister, she started telling everyone she was allergic when she went to university so she wouldn't have to eat it. I was already in university here, so I didn't know she was telling people this. Our parents were divorced and we lived with Mum. Dad lives on the other side of the country. 3,700 kilometers away. We did see him, but Mum was the who did everything for us. Our relationship with Dad is better since Mum passed. But Dad, his wife, and his sister would not know my sister had an allergy and would take her word for it. Her boyfriend has met them, as the three of them are my sister's only family besides me. Basically, my sister says I should have gone along with her lie and not told her boyfriend the truth. She says the difference between hating and allergic is small and I shouldn't have told him. She's furious at me. Was I wrong to tell him the truth? Story 5. Ida for asking my husband not to use a certain towel. Last night the toilet in my 21F and my husband 24M apartment flooded. My mom got me some nice white towels for Christmas last year along with some other nice bathroom stuff I had asked for that would be out of my price range to buy on my own. Anyway, when the toilet ended up flooding after my husband used it, he freaked out on what to do and I told him to just throw one of our old cheap towels down since we don't use them anymore. He got mad at me for insinuating that one towel was nicer than another and said he knew I'd care more about the towel than the situation at hand. This has happened one other time before, and the time before I also asked him not to use the nice towel and he got mad at me then as well for it. Well, he ended up using my nice towel instead of the other one because he didn't want to go to the closet and look for one of the old ones. I was upset and felt kind of disrespected considering I don't really get to own nice things and it feels like any nice things I do own are treated like this by my husband to begin with, and it caused a fight that I thought had blown over by tonight. This background brings me to the issue I'm now having. I asked if he minded if I changed where our cats are fed tonight because we haven't gotten a chance to go to the store to get some Swiffer pads to Swiffer that bathroom yet, and the cats have been fed on the tile and they're opposed to the carpet in the rest of the house. I just wanted to feed them on the carpet and deal with potential mess later, as to me it feels gross to feed them on a floor I won't even step on barefoot because it hasn't been cleaned. He originally says that's fine, but he's putting something down on the carpet to eliminate any chance at a mess later. He wanted to put down the towel he used last night to clean up the toilet water. The towel I didn't know he just threw on our carpeted closet floor after soaking up the water. The nasty towel that has been marinating in toilet water for a day now is what he wanted to set down and feed our cats on. I try not to disagree with him much because he says I'm instigating fights if I do, but I felt I had to speak up at how nasty this was. I asked him if he really thought it was okay to feed our cats off this towel that hasn't been washed and to please use a blanket or literally anything else. He called me controlling and said I was dictating how he feeds the cats and instigating a fight on what's been an otherwise good night to him. I ended up having to leave to cool off to stop being yelled at for saying I thought it was gross but can't help how icky and messed up this entire situation feels. He has me feeling like I've genuinely done something wrong for asking he doesn't use this towel to feed our cats and refuses to speak to me now. Ida. Story 6. Ida for prioritizing my daughter's school performance over her emotional well-being after her mother's death. I, 39M, am feeling conflicted about a recent decision I made regarding my teenage daughter, 16F, following the death of her mother. I can't help but wonder if I made a huge mistake, so I'm turning to you, Reddit, to pass judgment on whether or not I'm the asshole in this situation. Since my wife's passing, life has been tough for the both of us. Dealing with my own grief while trying to provide for her has been a challenge. My daughter has been extremely distraught, and I can see how much she's struggling emotionally. However, when she asked me for time off from school to process her grief, I ended up prioritizing her academic performance instead. I'll admit, I've always been a stickler for education, and my daughter is a bright student who excels in her studies, particularly math and science, which are very important and I wouldn't want to jeopardize that. When she approached me, I couldn't help but think about how it would impact her grades and future prospects. I was concerned that missing school would lead to a drop in her academic performance and potentially hinder her chances of getting into a good college. Instead of allowing her to take some time off, I suggested that she continue attending school and told her that I believed that maintaining a routine and focusing on her education would provide stability and keep her on track. Apparently, my daughter was devastated by my decision. She accused me of not caring about her feelings and prioritizing her school performance over her emotional well-being. She believes that I'm being callous and unfeeling, dismissing her need for time to heal. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for putting my daughter's school performance ahead of her emotional well-being, as she put it, after the death of her mother? I'm genuinely questioning if I made the right decision and would appreciate your honest opinions. Thanks for reading. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.